as I sow, messages come through. You could call them downloads, maybe insights into personal things or human things or global things. And I never share like this. I'm doing it now, but I'll explain to you why, and then I'll tell you what's coming through now. I'll save that for the end. So I've been sewing maybe about 13,000 hours. So I've had 13,000 hours of, you could say, insight or discovery or understanding. I'm not always peaceful when I sew, but I'm always reminded that that's the direction I'm going. I'm not able to inhabit a peaceful state all the time or most of the time. But when I'm aware of my own mind and I can direct it, I try to direct it toward peace. So even if I'm not feeling peace, the idea of peace. So as I'm sewing, I'll feel a lot of creative energy and I'll think, oh, I'd really like to share this with people. And there are ways to do it. So many people pick up their phone and they capture what they're doing and they share it. But I realized again and again that creative impulse to share, if I just let that go and return to the creative act itself, then all of my creative energy goes into the action, which for me is sewing a tapestry over many years, almost 6 years now. And so that magnifies or focalizes the creative energy. And then the sharing comes in person. And I don't have to control that or rush that. I don't have to get it to production and get it out in a reel to share with people. I can just trust the higher divine energy and the karma and the samsaric wheel we're spinning in, that if I want to share, and the point is to share something peaceful so that somebody else feels more peaceful and more centered and more grounded, and then that resonates out to the whole world and we more quickly bring about the awakening, then I don't have to share online. I don't have to post anything. So that frees me up, and so I don't post a lot. But as I'm sewing, I've been noticing that I'm checking in more often online. For whatever reason, I'm drawn more and more. I think the algorithm is stickier now. It's like a honey trap. And I see a lot of the things being shared revolve around fear or finding out who the baddie is, whether it's the bad guy through bloodlines or reptilian or shapeshifter or just greedy or just ignorant or just violent. We're being pointed again and again towards some kind of division, seeing ourselves as separate from something else, as though it's not included in the totality of the whole. So today what's becoming really clear, especially with the planetary alignment we're in now, this basket, the alignment of the 4 planets, what's coming through now with clarity is how those who are in powerful positions are more stuck in samsara and stuck in the wheel of existence than we are who are not at the top in that way, because that's not really the top. It's a tower destined to collapse. It's collapsing now. It'll collapse in phases, and we're witnessing it. But what happens is the people on the top of that tower, they're in more fear. And they're in more fear because they have much more to lose, so they think. They're very much attached to their houses and their yachts and their power and their influence and their people they're surrounded with. They're very attached. So the fear of losing that is very great, and the lengths they go in which to protect it is very 3D. It's very in the 3D world. But because they have so much authority over media, they spread their fear. It's not always consciously. It's emanating from the source where the fear is greatest, and the fear is greatest at the top. So then we see it, and it gets us into a funny headspace of thinking everything's going to shit. But actually, what's happening on the other side that we can't see through the media is that every single time any of us sees anything bad, we, being naturally good people, wish for that not to happen again. In that moment of wishing or asking or praying, or thinking, that direction of the mind to, I hope that doesn't happen again. Those poor suffering people, I hope that doesn't happen again. Those poor suffering children, I hope that doesn't happen again. As we do that, we're binding ourselves together. We're weaving ourselves closer together. This is where the old saying, the meek will inherit the earth. It's not that we're meek. Meek is not quite the right translation. It's that we're non-harmful. So a little mouse is non-harmful. So the majority of us are non-harmful. It's illegal to own most of the weapons that are being used. A civilian can't own them. They have to be directed by people in power. So in these times, we have to be really clear with our own attachments. If we really release our own attachments a little bit more, then we get even closer to this end of suffering, or in the short term, to this new earth that we're ushering in that will be really peaceful. It's bound to be really peaceful. I had a dream recently where I was able to just catch a glimpse of it, but it was so clear that we're moving inevitably toward that moment, because anybody on the planet who's peaceful and has a wish, that wish has much more power than somebody who's at the top and is afraid and greedy. There are mechanisms for sharing information and sharing their fear. They're going to be switching in unimaginable ways. A lot of miracles, which are normal, miracles are normal, are going to continue to happen. Things that are unexpected, that help and that balance. So the thing that the people at the top are forgetting is that there is a balance to all of this, and there is karma. And so these short-term gains of things that are gained by hurting others, and this short-term gain of perceived safety that's gained by threatening others, or this short-term perceived power that's gained by hurting others to the point of death, that's moving certain people headlong into an abyss. So if we watch them with their selfie stick in hand on our screen, we're going to get the sensation that we're all going into the abyss. But as we turn away from our phones, and this is really important, I mean, I'm saying it mostly for me, as we turn away from our phones and we tune back into whatever it is we're doing, even if we're just washing a dish. But let's use an example that makes sense. Let's say you're out on a hike, and everybody that goes on a hike now has to stop and take a picture of the hike because you want to share it, and it's so beautiful. And it is nice to see our friends on a hike in a beautiful spot. It's so nice to see. But just imagine that this woman doesn't take a photo of the beautiful hike, and because of that, she's a little bit more present, and she enjoys the hike even more. And as she's coming down the trail, she passes somebody else coming up the trail, and what she shares with that passerby, maybe an old man, is a smile, and a smile that is ignited with a whole lot of peace and a whole lot of presence, because she's still in the moment. And then she has the blissful joy of sharing in a much deeper way, of sharing her moment on the path where she's happy, and when she passes somebody else on the path, he gets it too. So the share is super powerful. So I consider this like a moment on the path. I don't know how many more times I'll stop to set up a little tripod and my phone. I think I have to remain quiet and sewing and trust that I don't have to control all the levers of the universe. Wherever I'm supposed to go next and whoever is supposed to see what I'm working on, I'll show up and they'll show up, and then we'll both go home smiling.